Hello fellow sim racers. Today I'm taking a look at the Russell-Alexis Mk.14 Formula Ford mod for Assetto Corsa by Stereo. Stereo was nice enough to reach out and provide me with a pre-release version of this mod to have a play with, and with a bit of luck the mod should be available a few hours after this video goes live. So stick around to see what's so interesting about this historic junior Formula single-seater. Alexis had built a name for themselves producing Formula Junior cars throughout the 50s when they were approached by Jim Russell to build a low-cost single-seater for his racing school to the then-new Formula Ford spec. The Russell-Alexis Mk.14 was the product, and it proved to be popular and, more importantly, successful. And that's what's represented in this mod, or perhaps more accurately, a present-day historic example of the car is what's included. In practice, that means the inclusion of a tall roll hoop, fire extinguisher, and the discovery of a couple of extra horsepower lurking around thanks to a bit of tuning work over the last 50 years. In essence, the car is a 1.6 litre 4-Cortina engine bolted into a bespoke tube frame chassis with a 4-speed transmission and, critically, road tyres. I say critically because the mod caters for two flavours of driving experience thanks to the two types of tyre provided. First off, a representation of the type of narrow, late 1960s radial tyres that would have been fitted when the car was new in 1967, and additionally, a set of more modern spec tyres for historic Formula Ford cars. And it has to be said, the driving experience is quite noticeably different between the two tyres. For me though, the period tyres were the most fun's to be had. This is a car that's not burdened with an overabundance of horses, so the small slippery 60s tyres make for a more active driving experience. And when I say active, I mean that this is a car that makes you work the wheel when you're on the limit. This is a good thing. The more contemporary tyre is wider and a little less compliant in the sidewall, and you can definitely feel that in the way the car behaves. On either tyre, what you end up with is a responsive, agile but low grip car that's a lot of fun to fling around. But if you're like me, it may take you a lap or two to mentally reset to the level of grip available, as there's really only so much you can ask from these tyres. That all being said, in stock form, the car is set up pretty conservatively, which means that if you do push past the limit, it's pretty forgiving and the tyres will put up with quite a lot of slip angle before they get fed up with your antics and spit you into the Armco. It also means that a bit of setup work will probably unlock a reasonable amount of pace as well. All in all, the car drives very well indeed. The force feedback's detailed and communicative, and the overall experience feels very plausible to me at least, and it passes that all-important looks right on track test. Moving on from the driving side of things, in the release notes for the mod, Stereo is pretty modest about the quality of the model, which, to my untrained eyes, really does look the part. But for me, it's the representation of various materials that stands out, particularly at the rear of the car, where the stark contrast between the highly polished metal and dull, unfinished castings is very apparent. Also included with the mod is a fulsome complement of nicely executed skins by Rhino 917 that capture the colourful and diverse range of liveries you typically see in historic Formula Ford racing. Finally, if I was going out of my way to find fault with the car, then I could take issue with the sounds, which, while perfectly serviceable, are borrowed from the Alpha GTA. But for me, that's not really an issue, and the sound is certainly in the right ballpark. If you've been following my videos for a while, then you'll know I have a bit of a bias towards historic race cars and junior Formula cars, so for me, this mod ticks a lot of boxes. I can see myself spending a lot of time digging deeper into the car, and in particular the setup. And that's because it has that much needed combination of being fun and being challenging. But that was sort of the whole ethos of Formula Ford. Fast cars with no wings and road tyres are a well-proven training ground for those hoping to ascend the single-seater ladder. And honestly, I think that translates over very well to this mod. From what I understand, the mod's due to be released at around 11 PM UTC tonight, and when the link goes live I'll endeavour to put it in the video description, and if nobody else beats me to it, as a pinned comment. I think this is a must-have mod for anyone that has more than a passing interest in historic racing cars, and to be honest, even if you don't, it's still a good fun drive. So that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks again to Stereo for giving me the opportunity to take an early look at the car. With a bit of luck, I should be bringing you another mod preview before the end of the week, and then I might just take a short break over Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be great if you could hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you think the video will be helpful for others, then please consider sharing it. As always, thank you for donating your precious free time by watching. It is very much appreciated. So all that's left to say is goodbye, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.